5 seconds. Start. At the midnight on 14-15 August 1947, India attained independence. Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of Free India, addressed a special session of the Constituent Assembly that night. There were two goals almost everyone agreed upon. One, that after independence we shall run our country through domestic government, and two, that the government will be run for the good of all, particularly the poor and the socially disadvantaged groups. Now that the country was independent, the time had come to realize the promise of freedom. India was born in very difficult circumstances. Perhaps no other country by then was born in a situation more difficult than that of India in 1947. The year 1947 was a year of unprecedented violence and trauma of displacement. It was in this situation that independent India started on its journey to achieve several objectives. Yet the turmoil that accompanied independence did not make our leaders lose sight of the multiple challenges that faced the new nation. Broadly, independent India faced three kinds of challenges. The first and the immediate challenge was to shape a nation that was united yet accommodative of the diversity in our society. India was a land of continental size and diversity. Its people spoke different languages and followed different cultures and religions. At that time, it was widely believed that a country full of such kinds of diversity could not remain together for long. The partition of the country appeared to prove everyone's worst fear. The second challenge was to establish democracy. India adopted representative democracy based on the parliamentary form of government. A democratic constitution is necessary but not sufficient for establishing a democracy. The challenge was to develop democratic practices in accordance with the constitution. The third challenge was to ensure the development and well-being of the entire society and not only of some section. The Constitution laid down the principle of equality and special protection to socially disadvantaged groups and religious and cultural communities. The Constitution also set out in the directive principles of state policy the welfare goals that democratic politics must achieve. The real challenge was to evolve effective policies for economic development and eradication of poverty. On 14-15 August 1947, not one but two nation states came into existence, India and Pakistan. This was a result of partition, the division of British India into India and Pakistan. The drawing of the border demarcating the territory of each country marked the culmination of political developments. According to the two-nation theory advanced by the Muslim League, India consisted of not one but two people, Hindus and Muslims. That is why it demanded Pakistan a separate country for the Muslims. The Congress opposed this theory and the demand for Pakistan. But several political developments in 1940s, the political competition between the Congress and the Muslim League and the British rule led to the decision for the creation of Pakistan. Thus, it was decided that what was till then known as India would be divided into two countries, India and Pakistan. Such a division was not only very painful but also very difficult to decide and to implement. It was decided to follow the principle of religious majorities. This basically means that area where the Muslims were in majority would make up the territory of Pakistan. The rest was to stay with India. The idea might appear simple, but it presented all kinds of difficulties. First of all, there was no single belt of Muslim majority areas in British India. There were two areas of concentration, one in the west and one in the east. There was no way these two parts could be joined. So it was decided that the new country, Pakistan, will comprise two territories, West and East Pakistan, separated by a long expanse of Indian territory. Secondly, not all Muslim majority areas wanted to be in Pakistan. Khan Abul Ghaffar Khan, the undisputed leader of the northwestern frontier province and known as Frontier Gandhi, was staunchly opposed to the two-nation theory. Eventually, his voice was simply ignored and the NWFP was made to merge with Pakistan. The third problem was that two of the Muslim majority provinces of British India, Punjab and Bengal, had very large areas where the non-Muslims were in majority. Eventually, it was decided that these two provinces would be bifurcated according to the religious majority at the district or even lower level. The decision could not be made by the midnight of 14-15 August. It meant that a large number of people did not know on the day of independence whether they were in India or in Pakistan. The partition of these two provinces caused the deepest trauma of partition. This was related to the fourth and the most intractable of all the problems of partition. This was the problem of minorities on both sides of the border. Lakhs of Hindus and Sikhs in the areas that were now in Pakistan and an equally large number of Muslims on the Indian side of Punjab and Bengal found themselves trapped full stop.